because we are both elites. They're both elite planes. We got the AMRAAMs, we got the AIM-9s. My missiles are going out, his missiles are coming back in. We're both popping flares, but I get the kill. I do take a hit. The plane, however, survives. And that's going to be important later. Hey guys, Stealth here, welcome back to more 1v1 Wargame. Today, a bit of an odd match, because I am playing as a NorCalRoach airborne deck. It's Chuck Norris. I've encountered this guy before. I think once he played normal, then he helo-rushed me with a European whatever deck. I think it was European airborne of all things. He apparently seems to like airborne decks, because now he started out in the previous match with a longbow and a Nighthawk and an A-10 and an Eagle. And I just got completely overwhelmed and thought, nope, fuck it, I'm not fighting this guy again. Had a look at his deck, and I'm now using it. I thought, you know what, we're going to fight fire with fire. We're going to fight airborne with his own airborne. So, I'm using his own airborne, his own units, his own deck against him. That means I'm playing NorCalRoach airborne, which is a weird deck. I wouldn't really recommend it for ranked, because it is pretty weak on the ground. You're exceptionally reliant upon really controlling the air, and just utterly suppressing enemy air defenses. But if two airborne decks come up against each other, it gets interesting. Now, my plan over here is to play very defensively. Normally with a motorized deck, I go for Bravo, I have a bit of stuff in Golf. But this time around, I'm not even going to try for Bravo. I'm starting out with a longbow to spot stuff, but, well, I'm fairly expecting that Mr. Norris is playing his own deck. So, his airborne deck again. And with that in mind, actually I don't really need the longbow in hindsight. But here we are anyway. I got one guy going over here, holding the area of Alpha. A couple of guys going towards the middle. That's the Humvees, a couple of recoilless rifles, a CNR, and an Avenger are going to sit over here to ensure that there's no push coming up there. But going into the woods themselves is a death sentence there. As for the Cobra, it is going to scout out further ahead. And what you cannot yet see is that I have an Eagle, a Nighthawk, and a Skyhawk, so a rocket pod plane. Skyhawk engages enemy air defenses and makes sure that enemy air defenses such as the Avenger are down, so that helicopters can do more work. Now, moving out, we have the longbow going up ahead, trying to detect enemy air, and we do. And at this point I thought, yep, he's playing the same deck. Because these are both reconnaissance Cobras. Over here you can also see a Humvee, so again, confirmation that he is using the same deck. Now, what does that mean for me? That means for me that I have to be pretty careful, because last time he started out with an Eagle, and I'm thinking he might just do that again. So I'm going to keep the longbow here, at least as a spotter temporarily, until the Cobra comes in, and yep, we got both a Raven and something firing air-to-air missiles. Sorry, no, air-to-ground missiles, that's the Nighthawk. So again, he goes for the Nighthawk opener. I try to get my guys to split up and, well, get out, but everything gets demolished. Fortunately, in this case, not terribly expensive. My Eagle comes in, and so does his Eagle. I'm trying to hunt down the Nighthawk, but couldn't quite get it. Instead, got the Raven. So that is already a pretty pricey loss for him. In this case, it doesn't matter at all, because none of my anti-air defenses are laser guided, so I'm essentially neutralizing his own deck by using it against him. A couple of Cobras coming in, trying to hunt down the longbow perhaps, I'm not really sure, or just seeing what they can find. I did not start out with the second CV here in a hotel, because I just didn't dare start with that. Highlanders over here are in a position to take the building. They are, however, taking their sweet time getting in. And I fortunately have one group of Rangers, which managed to survive the onslaught of the Nighthawk. But that's about it. I got a couple of planes, I got 2 helicopters, 1 Rangers, 1 Humvee, and 1 Highlanders, because they just nuked the CH-118. Here comes a recon unit, and we're going to take down these Cobras. I'm not sitting around to dance with his Eagle just yet. But if I can take down one Cobra and have the other one get into range, allow the Mini-Me and the C7 of the Highlanders to engage it, then sure, I will gladly take that kill. Now, he does try to fire a couple of missiles at my Eagle, but it survives. And over here, I'm dealing with his reconnaissance unit, with my reconnaissance unit, as the Cobra takes down the vehicle there. At this point, I pulled the Highlanders slightly back to make sure that the Cobra couldn't kill me, because rocket pods and grenade launchers, very dangerous to infantry in general. So the Eagle flies out again, hits the Cobra, gets out, and I know that the Eagle on his side is probably already up. There it is. And this time around, I have 2 Eagles. I was using this one as a trap, and it worked. Because now he's going to have to face 2 of my Eagles with 1 of his. So one of my Eagles engages, and this is a pretty tense moment here. Because we are both elites. They're both elite planes. We got the AMRAAMs, we got the AIM-9s. My missiles are going out, his missiles are coming back in. We're both popping flares, but I get the kill. I do take a hit. The plane, however, survives. And that's going to be important later. Because with my Eagles both online, I know that he only has 1 left. Because he only has 2 of these Eagles in this deck. Now, considering how little he has, in the sense of the Raven loss, the Eagle loss, the couple of helicopters that got shot down, versus my losses here, I think we're pretty even. I did see something happening around here, and I think it was an M35 that I'm spotting. Now, seeing as I know what his deck is, I know that that's command unit, command infantry, and it lines up, because just then the sector got captured. So a Nighthawk is already on the way, bombing the assumed position, which in his case I think is here, as opposed to here, where most people park their CV. And you can see he moves, but the bombs don't hit. So it might have been a little bit further afield. I don't really want to switch away from my view, but, well, the kill list isn't that important. Let's see where he was hiding it. Yeah, he managed to get into the town. But look at how little he has too. Highlanders, 118, M35, Humvee, command squad. That's it. That's all he has. My Cobra over here is almost out of rocket pods. Still trying to deal some damage against an ACAV that he's putting into Gulf. But I think he's mostly there, not so much to contest the sector, but very much so to just spot stuff for his attacks. Skyhawk comes in because I had it ready, doesn't attack. I don't think it actually hits anything, but whatever. And over here we have a 113 CR that needs to go. Patrolling again with an Eagle, trying to bait another Eagle or defend against Nighthawk attacks. I do spot the Avenger. And that means that the Cobra is no longer safe here. The Cobra, however, before that Avenger arrives, can at least deal some damage against the Light Rifleman. And, well, it's just Light Rifleman versus Light Rifleman here. This is what we're constantly doing. It's these very, very, very small fights. 20 points versus 20 points. Well, 30 points if you want to count my Humvee. Skyhawk comes in. I spot the Avenger instead, and I decide to go for that, because I know they don't have a whole lot of those, so that goes down. Here comes his Eagle. I don't mind losing a Skyhawk. I don't mind losing a Skyhawk at all. I can even lose 2. But if I could take his Eagle down, that'd be far more valuable. Because that's his second and last Eagle. Now, the AH-1S Cobra is being forced to withdraw because the DAP flies over. And the DAP still has its stingers, I think, but the Cobra currently is staying ahead of it. I'm not sure exactly if he's completely oblivious to my presence here, but he almost flies into position of the Rangers and the Light Rifleman. The Eagle comes in again, drops a missile, and I know I wasn't going to kill it, but I needed to weaken it, so I immediately evac the Eagle. This guy is not only weakened, but also shaken, and as he comes closer, the infantry take them down. So that's another 60-point helicopter out of the skies, and he only has a few of those left. I think he has 3 in this deck, but you can see the deck in the description down below. Now, so far so good. He's lost quite a few units. It was pretty satisfying killing this guy with his own deck so far. Especially after the helo rushes that he's done so far. And since he was running out of party tricks pretty quick, I was expecting him to start helo rushing me pretty soon. I just need to get a bit more control over Gulf and the surrounding area and make sure that I spot that stuff early. So I got some CNRs coming in, Got an Avenger coming up. I got another ACAV moving into Foxtrot. Because I wanted to put a CV into Foxtrot, seeing as Gulf is too easy. It's too easy to predict where the CV is going to be. It's going to be in the building there, it's going to be in the tree line here. I don't have the tree line here yet. I also got this little tree line section, but that's about it when it comes to concealment. You don't have a lot of options. So I had to do something else. And in Foxtrot, you have a bit more of an opportunity to get your vehicle into cover. Over here, the ACAV starts taking shots at the light rifleman. So we call in the Nighthawk since it was ready anyway. It's a bit of a hefty response relative to a reconnaissance tank. And I think... yeah, it does blow up. Or at least something blew up. What was that? No, that was a CNR. That was not the ACAV, but the ACAV might also have taken a severe hit. At any rate, that's another recon vehicle dead, but these things are only trend points. They're really not that impressive. Do I have any? Yeah, here. 10 points, good optics, machine gun, and that's about it. It's just an IF, or not even an IFE, it's an APC with machine gun. So far, he has scored 42 points, I've scored 1. So when it comes to the score, I still have some catching up to do. And I'm already bringing a CV into position to get into Foxtrot to start ticking. Now, so far, reconnaissance on the left, some reconnaissance coming up on the right in the form of these cheap CNRs. And in the middle over here, I'm working away on getting rid of the last light rifleman. My own light rifleman and Humvee provide more firepower than the light rifleman there. Although if he kills the Humvee, we're going to be even again. So that's exactly what he does. But the Cobra then finishes off the infantry. Here comes the Eagle. Potentially trying to hunt down the Skyhawk. I'm not exactly sure, but that's my assumption. My 2 Eagles are out here as well, and I was using the Skyhawk as a bait. At this point, I know that I've killed at least 1 Avenger. There are a few left. But I'm not too confident in taking this air-to-air fight, so I'm going to evac my Eagles for now. Taking down another Humvee over there. And here comes his Eagle. He is apparently very, very confident in his abilities with the Eagle to try and take down my Cobra. If he takes this thing down, it's not necessarily the end of the world, because I still have CNR there, I got an ACAV there, the CNR is pretty poorly positioned, by the way. I still got an ACAV there, so we have options. The Eagle flies over the Avenger, and the Avenger instantly fires and hits the Eagle, meaning that the Eagle is shaken. The Eagle has also managed to get a couple of missiles off against the Cobra, and it's hunting down my longbow. So I know that it's a bit out of missiles, I know it's shaken, so both of my Eagles fly in at the same time and take down his last ASF. This is critical, because I now have pretty much complete dominance of the skies, and the only thing he can throw at me is, well, the Deagle. He also has CF-118s, or 188s, you know, the Hornet, the Canadian Hornet. It has short-range air-to-air missiles, but it's really not something that you want to use to fight something like an Eagle. It's possible, but not recommended. So, with the second loss of his big fighter, he is now in trouble. For some reason, he tries again with the Humvee. The CNR takes it down, because the CNR has armor and the Humvee does not. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to start to probe over here in Foxtrot, as I am slowly ticking a +1. I'm also getting a CH-147 in position with Canadian Rifleman, but I was not expecting an Avenger, so I pushed it out too far and I got shot down. All the infantry die on impact. Now here we have a similar contact as before. He has armor, I do not. So against this CNR, I just cannot do anything. Nighthawk flies in, bombing the last known position of the Avenger. Or at least assumed position, because I thought, well, he fired it from here and then it moved back into the forest, so it could be about here. No idea if I actually got it. I don't think so. No, it's all the way over there now. But again, he has very, very little. Light Rifleman, 35, Avenger, Highlanders, and CNR. That's it. That's the extent of his defensive line. Humvee pulled back. Even the CNR couldn't kill it. So I can still use this thing. I can heal it up, and I can use it later. Over here, my longbow survived its encounter with the Eagle and is getting fixed up at the fob. Now, if you look at how many units I have versus how many units he has, I have vastly more units. And since I am expecting some form of an attack, I'm getting the Avengers in several positions which could stop a helo rush. Over here, the longbow comes in. Now, knowing that I have air dominance, I bring in the Eagles. And the Eagles are going to try and hunt the longbow down. But I find something else entirely. The Nighthawk is here, and since it just opened its cargo or its bomb bay doors, it's now getting detected. It's no longer concealed. So the Eagles swoop in and immediately nuke the Nighthawk. At the same time, the longbow lands, so I cannot see it anymore. I fly over it. Oh, this is all the more ironic. This guy's called Norris himself. The guy lands, and thus means I cannot detect it. But what I can detect is the last second of the Eagle's presence here is a bunch of helicopters. So, yep, here comes the scheduled helicopter rush. The longbow takes off again and prepares for another attack. And while the killing of the Nighthawk was a great success, losing the availability of the Eagles at the moment because they're rearming is not great. Because now I have a whole flight of helicopters and I don't have that many points. So what I bring in is a Skyhawk. It has, behold, a twin Colt 20mm. That's about it. But I don't actually use it to go after the helicopters. I use it to hit this position because that's what it was still tasked with. And I'm still thinking up, what am I going to do about this? And I have about 30 to 40 seconds before this is going to get really problematic. Because what I have here is basically nothing. I have nothing. The light riflemen are going to be hard-pressed to deal with all of these helicopters. I might damage them a little, but that's quite a bit of twin M134 machine gun fire. On top of that, there's a grenade launcher there. Over here I had Humvees, and I was sending infantry towards the front line, but that's not good. So they're immediately getting killed off, and even the Humvees are going to die. Time to bring in the Eagles again. Their AIM-9Ms are hungry. And I'm sending them both just right through the whole group. I don't care what I hit, so long as something dies. I just need to thin their numbers. And the more these guys are bunched up, the better. So, I hit one Cobra here, and over here the DAP dies. This is going to be pretty useful. Because it means that my helicopters are not as at much risk as theirs. The longbow also makes its presence known, and the light riflemen really cannot do much about it. Eagles are turning around, and yes, I'm running this in about half speed, because there's quite a bit happening. I completely forget about this DAP. That's a mistake. I completely forget it. There goes another missile attack. Of all things, the Deagle flies in. So that's fine, but both of the Eagles are still here. That's Norris and his wingman Fisher, and they immediately take down the Deagle as well, so there goes another one of his bombers. He really does not have a lot of strike capability left, so the pressure on him to make this work is enormous. It has to work, or he's done. The Humvee CV gets detected, and of course, promptly eliminated. Longbow takes down one Cobra, but there's a lot more of those coming. He still has a bunch of Cobras flying directly towards my command squad. The triple stack of Avengers is ready, and I should have moved these, just actively moving it forward. Because they have stabilizer, but I completely forgot about that. At this point, there are still 5 helicopters coming, now 4. The Avengers are all too bunched up, and they all start to take damage. The Cobra here takes a hit, doesn't die. This one dies, he's down to 3 helicopters. 2 Cobras, one of those is a recon and a longbow. And at this point, the longbow starts shooting back at my Avengers. So, I'm trying to keep the command squad from being detected. The Cobra temporarily gets distracted by a transport truck that brought in the command infantry. And the Avengers are moving forward to try and desperately deal with the Cobra. But of course, they cannot take cover here. Because, well, you're being spotted by a longbow. At this point, the Skyhawk comes in, guns down the longbow, and leaves it on 2 hit points. Not enough. Had I attacked ground, I probably would have killed it. Now, the Avengers are all dead. And at this point, I have just enough points to buy another command vehicle, another Humvee. I still have the one over there, but if I'm forced to bring this back, that's going to be a challenge and a half. So no thank you. Command squad, very much at risk. And, well, at this point, I'm bringing in the Skyhawk again. And the Skyhawk kills the longbow, believe it or not. And then, temporarily, as I had very brief control over the sector, the Nighthawk bombs the recon helicopter, the recon Cobra. So that dies as well. Sadly, I have no CV here, but one spawned in that I was tasked with going as far away as possible. You can see his Skyhawk guesstimating my position, but failing, and since he has really no further strike aircraft left, he has very few options here. The Avenger tries to take a shot at it, but the jet just takes off without really taking a hit. Now at this point, longbow perfectly fine, 16 Hellfires at the ready, just no real valuable targets to deal with. Humvees are dashing forward, trying to deal with, well, getting to his base essentially. Oh, and I didn't feature this, but over here? No, that's not mine. I had a Cobra, which was going forward, and I saw his command, which is over there. So I marked that. And now I'm just waiting for something that can fly out there and hit the target. CV is in position. I can buy a new CV now, so I can start ticking again, because he's at a +1. If I capture Hotel back, I'm at a +1 myself. And, well, he's lost his jets, like his fighters. He's lost his strike aircraft. He's lost his helicopter wave. Really, the very few things that he can still do is try to rush me with a bunch of light riflemen against helicopters. Good luck with that. Over here, I'm using more of his own units to kill him in the form of recoilless rifle trucks, and that did kill the CNR reconnaissance vehicle. And then the Humvee moves forward, which was the damaged Humvee. That was the victim of the machine gun fire from the CNR. So I'm taking more control of Foxtrot. I'm preparing to push into Echo. Got more Humvees coming in with light riflemen. The Skyhawk comes in all the way from over here. This thing almost runs out of fuel, because its time over target is 90 seconds, but I told it to take a pretty roundabout approach, and he surrenders. That was really, really satisfying, because fuck this guy. You can argue in the comment section that helo rushes are just a way of life, that they are just part of the game, but I personally really despise them. So killing one of the helo rushers and killing somebody who uses such tactics, very satisfying. And all the more so because I did it with his own deck. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you want to check out the deck, you can find that in the description. And I shall see you soon for more videos.